Hi guys. Hello. Mic test. Okay pa kayo guys? Hello. So yun, thank you for having me here guys. So I'm very honored to be invited here. No? So actually nakakatuwa rin kasi when there's a meet up usually, no, there's always like two to five people from NU Baliwag going into the talks. So I'm honored na to be invited here to be able to speak to you guys naman and be able to be your guest of honor. No? So yun, my talk is about code less, build more, start building cloud native and serverless applications with AWS. So essentially talking about how you can build modern applications in AWS. So may mga prerequisite concepts that we'll cover, and then after that we'll start building. No? So yun, okay, can start. So quick introduction lang about myself. I am currently head of service delivery for eCloud Valley. No, I'm heading up development, cloud engineering, security, and data for ECV Philippines. And I also have a tech blog. No, so mahilig ako magsulat. No, so I'll talk more about my blog later. And I'm also 5x AWS certified, and I'm AWS partner ambassador. So okay. So let's start with a bit of concepts. No? So, ano na nyo ba? End of school nyo na ba? End of school year? I think last day nyo na, no? Hindi pa ba? Ay, hindi pa. Last term. Hello? Okay. Last term? Oh, kailan yung last day nyo? Okay. Matagal pa naman. Anyway, so akala ko summer mode na kayo. No? So may mga pre-rec lang ako na para ma-understand nyo what we do in the industry, no, and what we are working on. No? When you go to the industry as IT professionals, these are the kind of terms that you should know in interviews, in development, etc. No? Alright, so first up, no, monoliths versus microservice. No? So essentially, how will you develop your application? Isang malaking application ba? Or several smaller applications working together. No, so when you read a lot of articles sa internet, they'll say always use microservice, no. But I don't think that's true. No, I think you should know when to use a monolith and when to use a microservice. No, so yung monolith, essentially everything about your application is just in one repository or one code base. No, so sino naka PHP Laravel na dito? Ruby on Rails, mga ganon. MVC frameworks. Ano pa ba? Django, mga ganon. So, yun usually yung monolith. No? Isang malaking framework where all of the HTML, CSS, and backend code is inside that one repository. And microservices naman, no, hiwa-hiwalay siya. No? Per component of the application, no, you have user service, yung login functionality, hiwalay na code base, no? Yung checkout functionality, hiwalay na code base. No? So you can have separate teams working on separate applications. No? So yun, we'll discuss yung advantages and disadvantages niyan later on. No? Sorry, before I proceed further, I just want to get to know my audience more. No? So, ilan yung mga fourth year na dito? Sa raise of hands? Third year? Para I can adjust my second year? First year? Okay. Alright, okay. So, kumbaga, we'll tweak it more para we'll explain the concepts more, no? Alright. Okay. So, ito. Actually, this is a good example, no? So, sino yung nagkaano dito? Nagpa-follow ng mga Formula 1, mga racing, mga ganun. Ayun, we have a fan, yes. So, typically, there's a team, di ba? Pag magsa-stop yung car, no, merong team na nag-arrange ng tires, may nag-check ng mga fluids dun sa car, meron nag-check nung mismong engine ng car. No, so yun yung parang microservice. There's separate teams working on separate components of the car, doing one thing really well. Magpalit sila, ang trabaho nito magpalit ng gulong, no, or tires. Ito, to tighten up fluids or add oil or whatever. And this one is to check the engine. No, so yun yung specialization nila. They only do one thing, no, and then they cooperate to make the car run in the fastest amount of time. That's microservice. Whereas, monolith naman, there's one master engineer. Ang trabaho niya is to do the tires, to do the engine, and to do the fluids, kumbaga. So parang isa lang siya, expert siya sa lahat. no? It does everything. No? So ganun yung monolith, no? So does everything siya. Okay, next. So how does it relate when you are in actual teams already? No, so ito ma-encounter nyo kapag nasa internships na kayo eh. How are the teams actually arranged? No, kasi for monolithic, you'll hear about may operations team kayo, merong quality assurance team, may development team. Yung operations team kapag nasa production na yung application, sila yung mag-handle. No touch na yung devs. Wag nyong galawin tong code base na to until we are able to check it kasi we are making sure na walang downtime at all yung application. Quality assurance, hindi lulusot sa amin anything na application until ma-check namin thoroughly. No, so yun lang. So parang isang pipeline lang sila, isang flow lang. Ay, nawala. Isang flow lang sila, isang straight line lang. No? Whereas in microservices, since there's many components, for example, yun nga, yung team na nag-check ng tires, yung team na nag-check ng engine, etc., we can make improvements on individual components, diba? Without affecting the whole. No? For example, yung team ng tires, mag-try sila ng bagong technique or mag-deploy sila ng, in a case of an application, yung user service, mag-deploy ng feature. They can do it independently. And usually, yung mga tao na to, hinahalo-halo sila. So they can do parang multi-threaded, sabay-sabay, concurrent. No? So that's more or less a microservices team structure. So you may encounter that when you are working going in internships. No, bakit isa lang yung development team? We're just waiting for a single, every Thursday nagde-deploy kami. Every Thursday pinapasa namin sa QA. QA will sign off every Wednesday. Operations will sign off every Tuesday. So parang may ganun silang schedule. Dito walang ganun. Lahat sila may sarili silang schedule. Over time, no? So this is the part I tell you na you don't use microservices all the time. Pag YouTube kayo, sabihin, microservices is the way. Ganyan. No, so if your app is relatively simple and hindi siya magbabago over time, monoliths are the way. No, just use a monolith, put all of your features in one code base and be done with it. Diba? And for example, you have a business idea. Sinong ma-startup dito? No, who wants to have startups in the future? Ayun, no, si Anthony. No, so, ayun, si Sir. No, so, yung mga startups usually, they need to get a prototype up and running immediately. No, kasi the more time that it's not up, the less time they have to test their ideas. No, so monoliths are a great way to deploy immediately. Kasi sobrang bilis mag-develop with monoliths. And they have a lot of tried and tested tools already. No? Okay. So just in summary, no, our first concept, monolith versus microservices. No, for small, simple applications, and you have limited devs, you want to be able to do monoliths. Low complexity, and not so frequent changes. Lalo na internal applications. No? When I was an intern, when I was 1 to 2 years old in the industry, pinagawan ako ng text messaging application. No? So, sino na nakakapag-text kayo using Python or something. So, I did that before. No? So, I did that using a monolith. No? Kasi mabilis eh. You can get up and running in 1.5 weeks. Meron ka ng something that will send text messages. For microservices naman, if you want to rapidly deploy and iterate, you want high scalability and fault isolation, meaning you expect your application to grow to thousands of users over time, no? And you wanna sa microservices kasi, diba, there's different teams, different applications, different components. Each team can decide a different tech stack. O mag-Ruby on Rails tayo, Team A. O, Team B, yung specialize sa user service, mag-Python tayo. Team C, mag-PHP tayo. So they can leverage different tech stacks as long as they have a way to communicate with one another. So nag-uusap-usap naman yung mga microservices na yan. For example, pag mag-check out ka, they need the user service to identify what user that is. So sabihin niya, user service, anong pangalan nitong user 123? O, pangalan niya is Jambi. So usap naman sila using API. As long as there's something like that, they can do any programming language. Kahit ano pa yan, yung mga obscure, mga Clojure. Nakatry na ng Clojure dito. Puro parenthesis, mga baliw kayo. Parang gusto niyong kagatin yung may mga subjects kayo for sure na parang feeling niyo pinapahirapan lang kayo ng ng university. But actually very useful siya. no? Kasi parang you'll come to expect different programming languages na parang, may mga ganito palang techniques, may mga functional programming, di ba? So may mga ganun. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Number 2, on-premise versus cloud. Sino nakakita na ng server dito? Meron na ba? Ay. So, yan, nakapag-migrate na rin yan si Anthony ng sarili niyang server from I think sa City Hall nila to AWS. No, actually naglagay ako ng price, no? Price reveal, no? Price reveal tayo, no? So, for example, alam niyo naman to, sino nakapanood na ng movie na may server room? Parang madilim, tas malamig, di ba? Tas parang nag-aaway-away sila, Tom Hanks doon, sutukan sila, tas may maraming servers. Yeah. Bawat isang server doon is actually 110,000 pesos. So yung isang ref ng server, isang ganito, 110,000 times 10. So 1,000,000 isang server rack. So imagine 1 million, 1 to 2 million pesos just to have that one refrigerator worth of servers. And syempre, you have to house those servers. Hindi naman pwede sa bahay nyo lang, di ba? Paano pag nag-brown out yung bahay nyo? So magkakaroon kayo ng secondary power source. Meron kayong battery backup. Paano kung biglang uminit or nagbaha? You have to seal up the room, etc. So it's super expensive. It takes a lot of resources. And ang hirap niya. So sabi nga nila sa industry, friends don't make friends make their own data center. Kasi sobrang hirap gumawa ng sariling data center. So that's on-premise. So more and more, actually eCloud Valley, plug ko na din where I work, is actually one of the top, if not the top consulting firm in the Philippines specializing in cloud migration. Nililipat namin yung servers ng mga big conglomerates and corporations from their server rooms in their office and warehouses to AWS or the cloud. So ano yung the cloud, di ba? Parang The Matrix, di ba? Sinong familiar na dito sa cloud? Hindi yung nasa labas, hindi nasa taas. Familiar sa cloud computing, AWS? Ayan. So, this one, I'll have a quick introduction. I think servers, familiar naman lahat, no? Kasi I think everyone's holding a server, kumbaga. Lahat ng cellphone nyo, server yan, guys. Basta may IP address, server na rin yan. No? So, syempre, mas less powerful lang siya than this server racks. No? Pero pwede rin yung server yung hawak nyo. Anyway, so, the cloud, no? So, I'll skip this part muna, no? So, the cloud is, So, kwento. I think better if ikwento ko ano ba yung the cloud na yan, di ba? So, nung 90s, nagkaroon ng parang tech boom sa US. No? So, sino yung familiar? Amazon, Facebook, di ba? Google. No? So, these big corporations, they started building their own data centers kasi ang taas ng demand for their services na digital services. Tapos, napansin nila, si Amazon, for example, didn't make money until like 2010, 2007. Pero napansin nila, ang daming nagde-demand ng servers and they have a lot of it. Ang dami nilang servers worldwide. Sabi nila, why don't we make a business out of it? Those big corporations, iba-iba yung specialty eh. Google is search, di ba? Microsoft is yung operating system, and AWS is yung bookstore. No? So sabi nila, why don't we just create gawin natin, ibenta na rin natin yung servers natin kasi hindi naman all the time ginagamit ng Amazon.com yung servers nila for the bookstore. Diba? So usually may mga sobra. When you do data centers kasi, mas gusto mo sobra kaysa kulang. Kasi pag kulang, anong gagawin mo kapag sobrang daming demand, sobrang daming gusto bumili ng libro? Alam naman sabihin mo, ma'am, sir, hintayin mo na kayo 1 to 2 months kasi wala pa yung server eh. No, wala namang ganun, di ba? Ayaw natin yung bad for business yun. No, so, gagawin nila, sobrahan nila. Kanyari, projected demand is 20 servers. Gagawin nila 25 or 30 para may provision for the future. Tapos, pag nasa 25 na ulit yung demand, gagawin nilang 35. Diba? So, parating may sobra. Then, eventually, they decided, sige, benta na lang natin yung sobra. Iparent natin. Let's spin it off as a separate business. So, Amazon, nagkaroon ng Amazon Web Services na separate company, and they started renting out these servers. And that's how the cloud is born. No? So parang, imbes na you procure your servers inside your, bili ka ng server, dalhin mo sa basement ng NU Baliwag, no? Tapos may server room kayo doon. Rent nyo na lang yung cloud. Ano yung advantages nun? Number 1, No, kapag ayaw mo na, you stop paying, no? For example, yung sa on-premise kasi, you have to procure, 'di ba? 140,000 plus all of the other costs. Tapos pag ayaw mo na, wala, you're stuck with that server that all its entire life. Kailangan mo sulitin. But with the cloud, gawa ka lang ng account, lagay mo credit card mo, turn on a few buttons, and then boom, may server ka na. And then you can turn it on and off anytime you like. Di ba? So that concept, revolutionary siya. Yung mga small people like you and me, pwede mag-start up bigla. Suddenly, me and Anthony and everybody in this room can create your own digital startup. Kasi sobrang liit na capital lang, pwede ka nang mag-create ng server mo, pwede ka mag-host ng website mo. Before, you have to procure the server's hardware pa for it. Di ba? Hindi ako nagne-networking pero mamaya, kung may 3 kayong kaibigan, guys, joke lang. Sorry. Okay. So yun yung essentially, yun yung ano nun. Yun yung parang gist ng cloud. So with the cloud, you no longer manage yung physical security ng servers nyo. Kasi kung bumili kayo ng hardware, di ba, lalagay nyo sa basement ng NU Baliwag, paano kung merong lokong estudyante na parang naglagay ng virus doon? Di ba? So, syempre, lalagyan nyo ng security guard yun. Di ba? So, yun yung level 1 na security. Level 2 na security, may-maintain nyo yung operating system. Di ba? Pag naggamit kayo ng Windows, nag-update siya. Di ba? Ganon din yung server, nag-update din yun. Kasi na-outdate yung mga libraries, mga operating system sa loob. Tapos you have to manually patch it pa. So, software level, you have to maintain the security, etc. So, ang dami mong iisipin. No? So, ayan, on-premise ito actually. No? So, yan, networking, paano siya kakabit sa internet, di ba? May on-premise ka nga sa baba, may server rack kayo sa basement nyo, hindi naman nakakonect sa internet. No? Walang kwenta yun. Di ba? Hindi siya ma-reach ng anyone. No? So, you have to be responsible for all of these things. Di ba? With AWS, tinanggal na nila sa inyo yung management ng server, storage, networking, etc. And focus nyo na lang yung application, yung data, yung OS, yung software, yun na lang. So eventually, napansin nila, okay, number 3 concept na tayo. So, ang smooth ng transition, di ba? Hindi natin napansin. So, ito, EC2. Ito yung parang servers for rent nila. So, syempre, para maengganyo yung mga big companies na mag-cloud na lang, servers for rent muna. Kasi dito sila familiar eh. Di ba? Yun yung madaling concept na intindihin for everyone eh. Tapos parang nakita nila, parang may mga paulit-ulit na nangyayari. There's repeated things in the cloud na parang paulit-ulit lang ginagawa. Di ba? Pag nag-deploy kayong server or naggawa kayong application, may database. Di ba? Pag binuksan nyo yung Facebook nyo, ba't nandun yung data ko parati? It's stored in a separate server. Sabi nila, what if gawin pa nating mas madali? No? Imbes na yung customer natin, yung NU Baliwag, yung magre-rent ng server and create a database inside, no, and maintain the underlying operating system, etc. Gawa na lang tayo ng service that will allow us to charge a little bit more, mas mahal to ng onte, no? Pero si customer, mas onti yung kailangan niya isipin. Wala na yung runtime tsaka yung middleware. No? So for over the long run, mas worth it to. No? Kasi you can essentially have a startup na isang tech person lang. Di ba? Isang tech person, isang business person, programming lang iniisip niya yung app lang. Hindi niya na i-maintain yung data. So mas lalong naging accessible. Di ba? Kasi eventually, no, syempre may mga companies that took advantage of this easiness. Sabi nila, uy, ang dami ng mga services, parang gusto kong gumawa ng startup ko. No, so gumawa sila ng software as a service. Sino familiar sa Airtable, Google Sheets? Airtable? Parokyano ko. Google Sheets. Yon. Okay, most of you guys, di ba? Google Sheets is software as a service. Kasi hindi nyo naman iniisip yung servers nyo, yung application, kung may bug, etc. Ginagamit nyo lang yung functionality. And that's it. SaaS yun. Gumagamit na kayo ng cloud, guys, believe it or not. Ginagamit nyo lang yung pinaka-simple part, yung SaaS. Yung very single purpose part, yung SaaS. So yun. So ito yung parang rundown, no? So when you're thinking of solutions in the cloud, minsan madalas yung pinaka-simple yung the best. No? For example, may customer kami, mahilig sila sa Excel, nagpapagawa ng application, gusto nila yung application nila mukhang Excel. No? So parang kami, inis kami. Parang, ano ba to? Di ba? Hindi naman kami, ganito pa bang programming? Gusto Excel sa loob ng website? Ano ba naman yan, ma'am? Diba? Pero eventually nalaman namin na gusto talaga nila Excel. They just want to be able to have a collaborative view of Excel. So makapag-collaborate sila with each other. So anong ginawa namin? No? Tinuro namin sila Bakit nag-echo? Guys, hello. Okay. So, ang ginawa namin, na-distract ako sa boses ko. Okay. Ang ginawa namin, tinuro na lang namin sila sa Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. No? So, meron na lang silang Excel that's centralized. No? Excel for all. Hello? 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 Okay. So yun. So sometimes, most of the time, the simplest solution is the best. Huwag nyo i-overthink. Porket developer kayo, gusto nyo gumawa na ng application. Isipin nyo muna, ano ba kailangan talaga ng kliyente natin? Marami ng solutions out there na ginagawa na yung kailangan nila. Bakit pa kayo magre-reinvent? Papahirapan nyo pa sila? Papahirapan nyo pa kayo? Diba? Doon na lang sa madali. Diba? Simple lang. Simple lang buhay, guys. Okay. Number 4, synchronous versus asynchronous. So, sinong familiar sa concept na to? Yung mga fourth year. Okay. So, sample, no? So, for example, umorder kasi ako ng Gongcha kanina. Diba? So, pag ginari, mag-follow up ako dun sa, sa kahera. Tapos na ba? Tapos, expect ko yung sagot mo. Sagot ka? So, hindi pa, di ba? Hindi pa, sir. Tapos na ba? Hindi pa po, sir. Tapos na ba? Hindi pa po, sir. Tapos na ba? Tapos, kanyari tapos na.
Sir Jamie.
Okay. So parang ganyan yan, right? So kailangan may sagot-sagutan. Yun yung synchronous. Nag-expect ako ng answer right away. Di ba? So, so thank you. No? So ikaw yung next. No? Asynchronous naman tayo. No? So for example, sabihin ko, tapos na ba yung Gongcha drink ko? Sasabihin mo is, I'll get back to you.
Sir Jambi, I'll get back to you for your order.
Tapos pag tapos na,
Sir Jambi, your order is ready.
yun, di ba? So hindi ako naghintay. Di ba? Hindi. Ganun siya. No? So, pwede. Thank you. Baka ma-discover ni Directo. So, yung synchronous and asynchronous, ginagamit siya both. No? Kasi syempre, when you're browsing a website, you expect a reply immediately. Go-browse ka Amazon.com, parang, ganda ng hard drive na to ah. No, click mo. Gusto mo makita mo agad. Synchronous yun. Di ba? Paano kung nag-checkout ka? Ayaw mo naman lahat ng internal process nila. Intayin mo. Di ba? Sending order to warehouse, sending your email, processing your payment. Intayin mo pa lahat. Di ba? Hintay ka 2 to 3 minutes bago mo makita yung success. Di ba? Parang sakit naman sa ulo. Even kayo, di ba? Attention span nating millennial pa ako, guys. Hindi ako Gen X. So, mga attention span natin, kaka-TikTok, mga 11 seconds lang, di ba? Nainit na tayo. No, so, ganun din to. No? So, parang, ang gagawin, pag nag-check out kayo sa Amazon, ang ginagawa niya, pag bayad mo ng credit card mo, nakalagay doon, check out successful. You will be notified shortly for confirmation. Diba? So, after 1 to 2 minutes, sasabihin, your order has been confirmed. Email sa inyo. And magbabago yung screen. No? So, ganun din sa Agoda, sa Booking.com, kasi you don't want the customers to wait. No? So, ganun din yung concept for synchronous and asynchronous. No? So, yun. Okay. So, cloud native development. No? So, ito yung trabaho namin ni Anthony. So, this is our bread and butter. Okay. So, may mga certain principles yung cloud native development. So, ano ba? Back na lang isang slide. So, ano ba talaga yung cloud native development? And ba't nyo siya parating naririnig? Or at least, why am I talking about that? No, not just it's my job. Kasi cloud native development manager ako before. No, but it's also building application built for the cloud. No? Ibig sabihin, kasi pag nagawa kayo ng monolith, no, gawa kayo ng isang malaking monolith, and lahat ng all of the aspects of the system is in just one server. You're building application built for on-premise. Yung parang isang server lang, mahal kasi yung server, tipirin natin. Lahat ng feature nasa isang server lang, tipid tayo. Diba? So, gawin. Since the cloud is here, might as well take full advantage of it. Diba? Let's follow the principles, yung mga next na sasabihin ko, and let's create applications in the cloud. No? Huwag kayong mag-alala, I will not be talking about AWS services right away. Walang ganun. No, concepts lang, di ba? So far, gets naman yung parang 4 concepts kanina. Okay naman? Okay. So, okay, principle number 1. Microservices oriented. No? Kanina we talked about microservices. No? Yung parang may nasa pit stop sila, tapos may mga may tires, team tires, team steering wheel, tsaka team fluids. No? Let's apply it for an actual system. No? So microservices oriented is breaking down the functionality of the website or the system into different components. No? So monolith, everything, all of the components is in just one server. For microservices naman, it's different servers, different databases for each component. Diba? So may user service, may sariling server, thread service, may sarili, and post service meron. That way, you can reap the advantages of microservices, you can grow in complexity, have separate teams, etc. All that we mentioned kanina. So that's the first principle of cloud native development. As much as possible, do microservices. Next is prefer containerization, for the cloud. Sino familiar sa Docker containers? Docker. Next topic natin yan, Docker containers. No, so, i-elaborate more ni Anthony yung Docker containers for you guys. No, but, ano ba yung Docker? Medyo mabigat na tanong pala yun. Dapat pala inuna ko yung talk mo. So, preamble na lang to. No? So, what are containers? Containers is a modern way of deploying applications. Bakit siya maganda? No, so, in a typical virtual machine, so kanina we talked about on-premise, tapos lumipat tayong virtual machine. Di ba? So, virtual machine yung nasa cloud, yung server nasa cloud. Di ba? So, wala kang, pag nagrenta ka ng server sa AWS, hindi naman physically pinapadala sa yung hardware eh. Di ba? Hindi naman dinadala sa bahay mo eh. Di ba? Tapos para renta, yung parang DVD before. Sino umabot dito nagrenta ng DVD? Renta ng millennial ka, sir. Hindi ka millennial. So yun. So yun yung virtual machine. No? So parang meron ka lang para access via terminal. No? Sino nakahawak na dito ng terminal? SSH. So essentially, it's a way to talk to the server sa taas. No? Sino naka-Minecraft dito? Di ba meron yung merong command line interface yon? Nakikipag-usap ka dun sa parang Minecraft server or something. So parang ganun din siya. Actually, ganun na ganun siya. Exactly ganun. Kasi nakikipag-usap ka sa Minecraft server. So medyo kulay itim lang yung terminal. Tsaka mas technical yung commands. Hindi siya English friendly. So ganun yung virtual machine, in an essence. And it takes a lot para mapatakbo siya. Kasi marami siyang operating systems. Malaki yung operating system niya. Sinong may 8 gig na RAM na Windows laptop dito? Lahat yung, ako sa developer, kulang 'di ba yung 8 gig? 'Di ba? Sabi sa inyo dapat 16 gig. Sobrang kulang, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Puro Word, Excel lang, hindi kayo makakapaglaro on 8 gig. 'Di ba? So ganun din 'yan. No, it takes a lot for the computer, the virtual machine to run. No, kaya nagkaroon ng containers. Containers naman, in as little as 5 megabytes, mapapatakbo mo na yung app mo. Which is good. Di ba parang, Jumpy, merong 5 megabytes na operating system? The answer is yes. So, kumbaga ang baba ng utilization. So, yung magagawa mo, masusulit mo talaga yung cloud. So, mangyayari naman kasi, yung virtual machine, pinapatakbo niya yung container sa taas niya. So, for example, yung laptop mo, may mga server sa loob. May 3, 4, 5 server sa loob. Parang ganun siya. May 3, 4 na container sa loob. We still need virtual machines sa mundo, but how we deploy our applications are inside containers that are inside virtual machines. Diba? Kasabihin nyo, Jumpy, mga pare ko, paus na yung virtual machine. Wala na, that's so 2010. Brad, papaalala ko sa line nyo lahat. Lahat ng server, mayroong pa rin saksakan. Di ba? Hindi nyo lang nakikita. Di ba? Lahat ng server, may OS pa din, may virtual machine pa din. Pinapatungan lang natin. Literally, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Di ba? Hanggang containers na lang. Baka umabot yung panahon, pagka-graduate nyo lahat, Docker container na lang yung alam nyo. Di ba? Kami hindi na namin alam yung mga Linux, mga ganon. Di ba? May dumating abstracted na. Banas na banas sa amin yung consultant namin, yung nag-start magtrabaho 2004. Sabi niya, Jambi, lost art talaga yung mga operating system Linux, ganyan. Malay ba namin kasi yung application namin naka-deploy na sa containers, naka-deploy sa serverless. So we don't have to mind these things. And that was intentional. Di ba? Of course, there are still gonna be jobs for people doing virtual machines. Hindi mo mawawala yun. Di ba? Parang may mga trabaho pa rin namang nag-install ng poste sa ano, di ba? Sa Meralco. Di ba? Nag-install ng high voltage electrical towers. May mga ganun pa rin naman, di ba? Pero paunti na ng paunti. Hindi na siya mainstream. Di ba? So, starting they becoming to start to become a specialization. Di ba? Tapos ito, everyone else moves to containers. So, ganyan din yung magiging trend pag graduate kayo. More or less, hindi nyo na tumalaman masyado. More on the sa application level na lang kayo, sa containers na lang. Tapos yung DevOps nyo, kung sino man yung server guy nyo, sasabihin na lang, o deploy a container na lang. No? Lagay nyo na lang. So, yung essence, no, this is a virtual machine. This is like your laptop's operating system, your Windows. Tapos yung mga processes inside is called a container. Ganun lang. Kasi pag pina-explain ko pa yung mga C groups, baka hindi tayo matapos dito. Namespaces, mga ganun. No, so, ganun lang. Naka-ride lang yung containers sa OS. And this is like a lightweight version of deploying your app. 5 MB, 8 gig. Di ba? Kailangan nyo 8 gig dito eh. Di ba? Hindi nyo mapatakbo yung Windows nyo ng less than 8 gig eh. Di ba? Dito, 5 MB, mapapatakbo nyo yung app nyo. Very compact way of deploying applications. Kumbaga, masusulit nyo yung mga servers nyo with containers. Yeah? Alright. Lambda are ultra-managed containers. So, medyo ano to, mas malalim na concept to. No? So, this deserves actually its own talk. No? So, more and more, si AWS, ang dami niyang servers, guys. Libo-libo. Kung wala pang million, libo-libo siguro. So, isipin na natin meron siyang 1 million servers sa Singapore. Yan. So, isip niya, okay, sige, try ko magbenta ng servers, di ba? So, binibenta niya, nirerentahan niya pa isa-isa. Di ba? So, yun yung virtual machine. No? Tapos eventually, sabi niya, gusto ko pa makabenta ng more. No? So, gawa tayo ng way para padaliin palalo yung pag-deploy ng application. No? So, ginawa nila yung containers. No? So, essentially, yung processes mo, yung mga web application mo na 5 MB lang, ilalagay nila sa isang EC2 instance. Diba? So, ikaw yung mag-manage nito, ikaw mag-configure, etc. Ang dami mo pa rin gagawin. No? Pero mas less na than if you rented a server. Tapos sabi nila, no, mangangarap na tayo ng wild, guys. Sabi nila, gusto ko ng way na ipupush lang nila yung application nila. Wala na silang aalalahanin. Diba? Wala nang ilang MB yung server na yan, ilang servers yung meron, magkano yung bayad, kailangan ba up all the time, etc. Basta pag ginagamit, pag may nag-request dun sa backend, merong server na magra-run, tapos babayaran nyo na lang kapag may gumamit. Yun yung serverless. May server pa rin. Again, hindi na wala server guys sa mundo ha. May saksakan pa rin lahat ng server. No? May power plug pa din. Di ba? Pero hindi nyo na iniisip yun. Sobrang abstracted na sa inyo. Paano nangyari yun? I-push nyo lang yung code nyo, yung Node.js code nyo sa AWS and tatakbo na siya. And that's it. It runs. It's perfect. So, yun. Okay? Bigat na. Okay pa kayo? No? So, may mga questions ba kayo at this point? No? Parang, okay naman? Okay. So, how many minutes do we have? Go ba? So, okay. Next tenet or next principle of cloud native is preferring managed services. So, ano yun? Diba? We talked about server to rent. We talked about containers to rent. Diba? We talked about serverless. Pero napansin nila, parang may mga paulit-ulit na applications na parating pinapatakbo. For example, pag-save ng files. Sino dito nakapag-Google Drive? Google Drive? Yun. Parati kayo nagsisave ng files, diba lahat kayo? Magugulat ba kayo pag sinabi kung there's a much cheaper way of doing Google Drive? Diba? Salamat. No? Thank you for the visual audio effect. So merong much cheaper way. No? Kasi ako, actually, Google OneDrive subscriber ako. Mabayad ako $880 per year. No? Tsaka, para lang sa 200 gigabytes. Di ba? Pero sa S3, Amazon S3, parang Google Drive din siya. Upload mo lang yung files mo doon. And yung 880 per year mo, siguro mga 10 terabytes. Mga ganun. Or baka more pa nga. Baka 100 terabytes yun. No? Yung hindi lang ganun kaganda yung UI. Di ba? Pero hindi naman siya built for for consumer use, built siya for the cloud. So in 100 terabytes, magagamit mo yun for 880 pesos per year. Pwede na, di ba? Sulit na. Di ba? So ganun siya kadali. And yun, AWS managed service siya. You don't need to worry about paano nagpapatakbo yung server na yun, paano yung application, may bug ba, etc. You just use the API or use the console, use the website, and gagana na siya. So marami yun, guys. Hindi ko na isa-isahin. No? So meron din for databases. No? So imbes na you install it in your server, you just click a button, tapos may database na agad. Pag nag-down yun, si AWS na bahala. Di ba? So imagine mo yung headache, di ba? Sino dito nagluluto or nagbe-bake? Nagbe-bake. Mahirap mag-isa, di ba, pag nagbe-bake? Di ba? Na-try nyo na bang mag-group baking class? O group cooking? Parang may isang chef lang, tapos sabihin niya, itong patatas, i-chop mo. Di ba? Itong dough, imasa mo. Ganun. Parang ganun yung managed services eh. Parang nag-uutos ka lang, masa mo to ito, i-chop-chop mo. Tapos yung pag na-chop mo na, dalhin mo dito, ikaw, halo mo to halo mo yan. Tagaturo ka na lang, tapos hindi mo na i-manage. Kasi kung before, para yung pag nasa EC2 siya, ikaw yun lahat eh. Sige, i-chop-chop ko muna to. Tapos imamasa ko na. Di ba? Ang tagal mo bago magawa eh. Whereas pag meron kang managed services, para kang may mga assistant. Tapos sila na bahala. Sige ma'am, basta buong araw magmamasa lang ako. Kahit mamaga kamay ko, ma'am, bayaran niyo lang akong $2 per hour. So parang ganun yung managed services. So as much as possible, whenever we can, we just use the managed services para we don't, di ba? Sino mas magaling mag-code? Tayo o yung AWS? O yung Google? O yung Microsoft? Sila, di ba? Mas reliable yung application nila. Totoo naman, di ba? I mean, I'm from a software consultancy company, di ba? Pero I admit, syempre, mas batak yung mga systems nila. Kasi all day yan lang ginagawa nila. So, let's rely on their services. No? Kaya microservices yung kanina kasi mabibitak-bitak yung application natin. Eh. Dati isang server lang lahat. Pero kung may AWS service naman for it, gamitin na lang natin. Di ba? So, meron Amazon Cognito. Pag kailangan nyo ng login, logout, register functionality, imbis na gawin nyo pa inside your application, mag-code pa kayo ng login, logout, gamitin nyo na lang yung APIs, gamitin nyo na lang yung Amazon Web Services na service, then you're done. Diba? So, okay. Number 4 is design for automation. Eventually, makikita nyo na parang, Jambi, ang dami ko namang minamanage. Microservices, ang daming puro micro, para kang kumuhang buhangin. Ganun. Kasi di ba, pag microservices, monolith, isa lang eh. So, ang simple eh. Parang hinawakan mo yung cellphone mong ganun. Sorry, yun pala yung cellphone ko. So, parang hinawakan mo yung mic, isa lang. Diba? Pero kapag microservices, hiwa-hiwalay. Ang daming components. You have to think about how they communicate, etc. Paano mo i-up yun isa-isa. Diba? Kung wala kang way na ganun, mamamaga kamay mo, kaka-click. Promise. Kaka-set up ganun. Click, 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 click. So, number 4 is design for automation. Yung buong setup mo, dapat automated na. No, merong mga services called Terraform that does that. Diba? So, naka-code na rin yung infrastructure mo. Isang pindot mo na lang yung isang dosen ng servers running your application, mag-up na bigla. Diba? And kung hiwa-hiwala yung code repository nyo, ang dami naman nun, magdi-deploy kayo isa-isa. Paano kung ready na kayo, diba? Push nyo lang dapat, tapos madi-deploy na siya. Yun naman yung CI/CD pipeline. So this is infrastructure as code, yung Terraform, and this is CI/CD. So just design for automation. Kasi pag microservices, again, ang daming pirasong kailangan i-manage. Sige, isa-isahin nyo yung 15 microservices. Tingnan ko, hindi mamaga yung kamay nyo, kaka-click dun sa AWS. Provision, 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 provision. Kaya naman eh. Pero bakit nyo mapahirapan sarili nyo? Diba? So this is something that has to be there from the start. Otherwise, mag-monolith na lang kayo. No, there's no shame in using monoliths. In fact, mabilis nga siya and reliable. Okay, next slide. So, okay, ready na ba kayo mag-build? So let's put it all together. Let's architect a cloud-native application. Okay, so ito na yung mga AWS services. Sino yung nag-postman dito? Nakapag-API postman, ano naman kayo dito? Siyempre. Pero postman kasi is a way for you guys to call APIs. Alam niyo ba APIs? Familiar ba kayo sa concept? API? Yes? Guys? Okay naman? Okay. Slide. So, API is a way to communicate with servers. 'Di ba? So, imagine niyo yung front end niyo pag nag-browse kayo ng Facebook. 'Di ba? Ang way for you to communicate with front end is through the buttons and the interfaces. 'Di ba? Para, ito button na to, click mo. Ganyan. Pero yung front end na yun, ano lang yun skeleton lang yun Kailangan niya mag-communicate with the business logic. Yun yung way. Yung pindot, pag pinindot mo, ano mangyari? Yung pindot mo, merong matitrigger sa ilalim, API yun. Siya yung pagpindot mo, mag-create ng post or ng tweet, tapos malalagay sa database nila. API yun, di ba? So, okay. So, our demo for today is simple. Now, we will just create a serverless application using serverless. No, so, actually, hindi siya masyadong demo. Meron akong blog post about it. No, so, I'll just share this link to you guys. No, so, essentially, so, meron ditong Postman. No, so, for example, yung AWS kasi, merong Lambda functions. Lambda functions is yung kanina yung serverless. You just push your code and sila na bahala. Diba? And we have API gateway na siya yung mag-receive nung request. Siya yung magra-route, siya yung magdadala dun sa serverless. And our database is DynamoDB. So this one is creating loyalty cards in AWS. So I'll leave the link of the blog post here then. So, how many minutes do we have pa ba? Para I can budget. How many minutes do we have pa? 20 minutes? 10 minutes. Okay. So, I don't know. So this one, I will, siguro pakita ko lang, mabilis. Pakita ko lang yung challenge ko. Click mo lang itong link. Okay. So, guys, I highly encourage you to do this challenge kasi all of my cloud developers, we are now 30, lahat sila ginawa to. So, if this is something that you can do, apply kayo sa amin. Or this is something you like to do, want to do, hindi nyo pa alam kung paano, pero ito yung gusto nyo gawin. Diba? PM nyo ako. Meaning kung gusto nyo mag-apply ng job, internship, or maybe just want to sample try this out. Anyway, so this is a challenge. So parang about a challenge, you are about to do a hands-on experience. Pa-zoom nga ng onte. Kaibigan. Zoom in. Zoom. Ay, wow, may ganito. Okay. So, yung situation is you are a scroll down. You are a dev lead of a chain of restaurants, and to increase sales, gusto mong mag-create ng loyalty application, and you wanna create an API for it. So, create lang tayo ng tatlong APIs. First is yung create na loyalty card, and this one is get all the loyalty cards, and this one is get one loyalty card. And then isi-save natin siya sa database. Simple, di ba? So API lang, just to create loyalty card, see all loyalty card, see one loyalty card. So yan yung gagawin natin. Pakita ko yung code sa inyo in a bit. Tapos, meron ako mga resources dito in case you wanna try this out. I highly encourage you to try this out. Ito yung ginagawa namin araw-araw for the past 4 years. Meron din ako ditong GitHub repository. Sorry. I-back mo. Tapos open in new tab mo na lang yun. Yung GitHub. Yan. Tapos may YouTube din. Akit ka. Akit. Yan. Okay. So, syempre, bilang career ko talaga, so, nag-create din ako ng YouTube video on how to do serverless. So, meron akong actually, user group called ulap.org back in 2021. So, if you want to follow through the hands-on exercise, there's actually a YouTube video already online for it. So, dyan din-demo ko essentially how the cloud native development works. If you wanna try it out, parang no commitment muna, gusto nyo muna tignan, di ba? Tignan nyo lang kung ano nangyari. You can watch this video through the blog post. So pakita ko lang yung GitHub, no? Okay. Ay, okay. So sa GitHub, essentially, saan na ano? yung, yung cursor, click mo yung serverless.yaml. So gumagamit kami ng framework called serverless framework, yung tawag. So serverless framework is a way to create serverless application or create applications to deploy in Lambda. Kasi gusto namin, yung code namin, i-deploy lang namin, hindi na namin iisipin yung infrastructure. Si AWS na mag-iisip for us. Diba? And pay-per-use siya. Gusto namin, kung kailan lang gagamitin ng customer, doon lang kami magbabayad per second. So yun yung gusto namin. No, so we use the framework called serverless framework to allow us to do this very, very fast. No? Pwede gawin to manual, no? Pero hardcore naman kayo masyado. No? So essentially, ito, this is the heart of the application, serverless.yaml. No, meron siyang can you zoom this more? Itong code na, no? Tapos, sige pa. Yeah. So this one, no, ito, pinakita niya lang yung permissions that we are using. And then this is the functions. Ito. Scroll down. Yan, no. So dinefine ko lang, meron create loyalty card. Ito yung code niya. Tapos ito yung path niya. /loyalty-cards and post method siya. So yun, create ko lang yung route. No? So under the hood, siya na magkakreate ng AWS services. Diba? Siya na yung nagpipindot-pindot. Again, pinupush ko lang yung code ko. And this is my code. Ito lang naman yung code ko, pero yung servers, yung all of that, I just defined it in YAML, tapos bahala na si AWS. Paano kung may 10,000 people sabay-sabay gusto gumamit nito? Bahala na si AWS. Siya na bahala. That's what I'm paying for. Ayoko mag-stress ng EC2. Ayoko mag-maintain ilang servers ba tayo today. Kasi yun yung trabaho ko before. I was actually a cloud engineer. No, ang dami kong gig. Cloud engineer ako before, and umabot kami sa 250 servers. No, sinong nakaabot ng Beauty Manila dito? Beauty MNL or heard it before? No, so kung mahilig kayo sa skincare, no, actually may 4-step skincare routine ako hanggang ngayon dahil doon. So anyway, cloud engineer ako for that e-commerce startup, and umabot kami sa 250 servers. Tapos, sinumpa ako noon na ayoko na mag-isip ng server. Gusto ko, yung pag maggagawa ako ng application, it's just the cloud providing it for me. No? And may degree of customizability pa rin, pero gusto ko, I don't have to think about all of those servers anymore. And hence, itong serverless. So, pag pinuntahan mo to, we'll go to this file shortly. Makikita mo yung Python code. This file and that Python code is just the two things I have to think about. Kasi AWS na bahala to provision everything. So, let's try going in there. Balik ka nga dun sa punta ka sa handler.py. So, ito na yung Python code. Ito na yung create loyalty card. No? So, sige, zoom, ganyan. Tapos, yan. Ayan. So, basahin niya lang yung loyalty card mo, then parse na lang, ilagay niya sa isang dictionary. Tapos i-save niya sa database. That's it. Diba? Yun na. Yung dalawang file lang, serverless.yaml, tsaka yung Python code, that's it. Yun lang yung i-up ko. No? So, that's my demo for today. No? Pero, if you want to try this out more, try this on your own, gusto nyo makita how this finishes, there's a YouTube video and a dev.to blog for you guys. So, I can share that with Zai and maybe share it with the entire team. Okay, let's get back to the PowerPoint. I have 5 minutes more, but I have a lot of wisdom I'd like to impart. No? So, ito yung mga life hacks ko sa mundo. No? So, hindi na to serverless. Bonus na lang to. No? Baka malate ako mga 2 minutes. No? Okay. So, my advice, na tira lang yung build. Take every opportunity that you can. Diba? NU Baliwag will give you mga projects, capstones, etc. When I was in BS Economics ako, guys. BS Economics ako, and I took 10 computer science subjects in ComSci. I was able to do that because my program allowed me 10 computer science subjects, 10 subjects na free. No? So, ako bilang economics na gusto pumasok sa IT, hawak ko sa opportunity. Every chance I got sa mga projects, sa mga capstone na yan, sabi ko, karera na natin, guys, kasi hindi naman ako taga rito. Wala naman akong, pag nakita nila yung resume ko, economics naman. Diba? So, I have to work twice, thrice as hard as everybody else. So, yung mga capstone project ko nun, guys, naka-AWS na. AWS, EC2, RDS, back in 2015. So imagine ganong ka-advance yung mga capstone ganun. No, and this is one that you can do then with the projects that you have here. Gawin nyo yung AWS. Go into the AWS Cloud Cup community, learn how to do that, tapos apply nyo sa projects nyo. Diba? Ma-upgrade kayo bigla. No? During the interview, iba talaga yung tingin sa inyo. Totally iba. So ito, sorry. So sobrang dami kong app. Nagkaroon pa ako ng part-time app on the Office of the Vice Chancellor. Tapos nanalo pa kami sa Manulife Savings Competition. Tapos ang dami kong sinideline nung time na yan. Okay, next. Embrace failure. No? So, inevitable, I will declare inevitable na mag-fail kayo. Kung hindi kayo nag-fail or hindi kayo naka-experience ng failure, edi hindi kayo natututo. No? So, inevitable na mag-fail kayo. I had a big failure back in 2017, no? And this was a defining moment for me na parang na-humble ako, na parang ang dami kong kailangan tutunan to change about myself, and this gave me the life perspective I needed to become better. No? So, di ba, kung magkaroon kayo ng failure, I hope it doesn't discourage you from pursuing a career in IT. This failure, hindi ko na i-describe, it cost the company 300,000 pesos. Nagkamali ako ng apostrophe dun sa script. Di ba? So, yung 1,000 pesos, naging 1 peso yung product. Ano yun parang moisturizer. Siyempre, binili lahat. Di ba? Mga Filipino people. So, piso moisturizer So, ubos, 280,000. Diba? Parang feeling ko sisisantihin na ako. Magkano lang masahod ko nun? So, hindi nila ako sinasantihin. They gave me a chance, and people will keep on giving you chances, will bet on you, and I hope you don't give up kapag naka-experience kayo ng failure. Embrace it. Hanggang hindi kayo pinapalayas dun sa company nyo, embrace it lang. Next. Don't shy away from jobs na may F2F. Sinong gustong remote, fully remote na trabaho? Fully remote. Uy, ba't yung tao ko? So anyway, for me, don't shy away from jobs na may F2F component. Mga once, twice a week, that's fine. No? Kasi iba yung nangyayari if you meet yung mga people, yung mga senior, nakikwento nila yung experiences nila, and you learn from that. Diba? Hirap kasi, guys, mahirap talagang network sa online. Diba? Yung parang hindi nyo namimit yung senior nyo, hanggang work lang. Diba? Mahirap yun So maganda may F2F component. Gets ko naman, di ba, nasa Baliwag, Bulacan tayo, tapos nasa Quezon City or nasa Makati yung mga face-to-face. Gets ko naman yung 5 days a week, mabigat talaga. Di ba? Pero maganda pa rin kahit papano nakakita nyo every 2 weeks, every 1 month, every 1 week, kayo na bahala on your tolerance. Pero important na nakikita nyo yung mga tao on your company. Lalo na at an early stage na fresh grad kayo. So yun yung my 2 cents. Next. No traffic like production traffic. Ako kasi natuto ako, yung dinidevelop ko, ako rin nagde-debug sa production. No, so when the apps that you're building is deployed in production and they're being used a lot, they behave differently. No, so nag-iibang beast sila and marami kayong matututunan. May mga racing condition pala. Ano yun? Parang may mga race car. Grabe guys, parang wow. Yung Beauty MNL, from 50 orders per day, nandun ako, nagsimula ako, na pag-grow namin, 2,000 orders per day. Yung mga bulok na code, kung bulok talaga, kita talaga ng customer. Kasi ang bagal ng pag-check out So, no traffic like production traffic. Next. Fake it till you make it. Di ba? So, this one, nag-aral talaga ako mag-AWS, and when I took over the AWS account of Beauty MNL, I didn't know what I was doing. Pero sabi ko, come, give me a chance, I will learn this. So, talagang hinabol ko talaga. May mga downtime kami noon. Fake it till you make it. Tama na, hanggang di tayo, sorry, bad words. Sorry, R18. Sorry. Hanggang hindi ako pinapaalis sa Beauty MNL, I will not give up. Di ba? Di ba? Sabi ko, I will not give up. Fake it till you make it. Di ba? So, yun. Hanggang hindi tayo pinapaalis, go lang ng go. Basta hindi kayo wala kayong inaapakan na tao, that's fine. Diba? Next. Student leadership is character building. I was also a student leader before. No? So marami kayong ma-handle na situations, managing people. People are way more complex than software. No? I wish everybody was code, mga minamanage ko, but hindi People are different, they're rich, they're very dynamic, ang daming variables, etc. But that's also what makes them unique. Also makes us, di ba? Parang exciting, di ba? So, very character building siya. How you manage people, how you interact with people, etc. And that's what you learn with organizations like this. Iba yung feeling na you are achieving something bigger than yourselves and you get to know yung mga tao. Kanyari, pag stress na si Zai, di ba? Paano kayo niya kinakausap, di ba? Or pag stress na ako nung nag-organize ako events, di ba? Tapos tatawanan nyo na lang after, di ba? So, you get to know a lot about people and how, kayo rin, ako pag stress na ako, ano nangyari-yari sa akin? Ako parang nahihilo akong ganun, hindi nyo na makausap. Diba? Ay, ganun pala ako pag stress. Diba? You learn a lot about yourself and other people. So, wag kayo ma-shy away from student leadership. Management is not for everyone, but there's something for everyone. I say this because I'm a manager of 30 people, and it's not for everyone. Nakakapagod, guys. No? So, I talk with people 8 hours per day, managing people, delivering software, etc. But there's always something for everyone. Finally, have role models. No? Di ba lahat kayo nasa school pa ngayon? No? Pero paglabas nyo ng school, wala namang magsasabi sa inyo what success is eh. Di ba? Ngayon ang success dito is mag-honors kayo, magkaroon kayo ng organization, etc. Di ba? But outside school, wala namang magsasabi sa inyo, this is what the success looks like. The closest metric is sweldo. And that's not a very good metric. You can be earning 300,000 per day and be super miserable every day. Diba? Ganun, is that the kind of life you want to live? I'll be happy with way less money, but way more freedom, way more life, diba? Etc. So what kind of life do you want to live? Pero ang hirap niyan to define on your own. Kahit anong basa mo ng libro, mahirap. So it's better to have role models, people around you who will show you what their life is. And maybe you can take away something from that. Diba? How to stand out, no? So when I was, before graduating, no? So I had a year-long internship. I was AWS experienced already. I was honors in Econ. In Beauty MNL, I was the only developer who can do AWS. In eCloud, I'm the most active AWS user group leader in eCloud Valley, including Taiwan, which says a lot, 1,000 people sila. Kami, 1,000 people kami. So, ako na yung pinaka-active. So, this is my different selling point. This is how I differentiate myself from everybody else in eCloud. So, how do you do that for you guys? For example, for Veronica, how do you stand out in NU Baliwag, diba? So, yun. So, no need to answer here. No. So, think about that lang and ano yung unique selling point nyo. Kung sabay-sabay kayo mag-interview in one company, what can you say na unique about you? Di ba? Amplify your personal branding. Don't be shy to post in LinkedIn. No? So, talagang post lang ng post. No? LinkedIn naman yan, para doon talaga yan. Di ba? So, post kayo ng mga achievements, mga blog posts to share, etc. And maganda rin to build a paper trail and build your name in the industry. And finally, don't forget to have fun, no? So, decompress what relaxes you. Guys, umabot na ako sa stage na burnout ako and I was looking at the wall at 8 p.m. Hindi ko na alam yung gagawin ko but to work. I forgot to have fun. I don't know what else to do. Pandemic yun, 2021, December. Nakatingin na lang sa pader. Parang gusto ko yung kurtin yung sarili ko kasi I cannot feel anything. Don't wait for that to happen to you. Diba? Ano ba, what decompresses you? What makes you rest? Diba? Kunya, mag-Netflix kayo, etc. No? Also, have fun with the people you work with. Diba? Ayaw ko naman yung parang, pag nakikita ko ni Anthony and my team, naisip lang nila yung stress ng trabaho. I don't want that. So we go on outings, we go on board games, etc. Para may work-life balance, para they don't just associate me with work. They associate me with fun, with learning, with etc. Diba? Full package, 'di ba? So don't forget to have fun talaga. And 'di ba, you're in it for a long time, no? You have 30, 40 years ahead of you. Ako mga 20, 30 years na lang. Might as well have fun. So yun lang. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.